Higu, 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 Higu. It's Higu time. Hi, glad to see you here, Kahila. Last time. Oh, hey!
13 unlucky. Something bad is going to happen this stream.
Yeah, something real bad is gonna happen this stream. I know what possibly might happen. And it has to do with a guy named Tepe. Thank you for the resub, East. Heckin' 13 months. Imagine. Imagine. Something bad. Oh yes, most definitely. 13 is a good number. Will Vampy get bonked? Nah, probably not. I mean, it depends on how ruthless Keiichi's going to be when he actually hecking murders this guy. Depends. Load. We already viewed all the tips. 13 is my lucky number, ironically. See, it's not too bad. Personally, 13 isn't that bad of a number. It's the quirky day, Friday the 13th. That's a quirky day. No one knows of his plan just yet, though. Mion and the others, having to set up for Watanagashi Festival or something, invited me along, but I refused. I refused. Of course I did. How could they be taking it easy and setting up for a festival in this situation? Mion had a lot of nerve. Well, what is she supposed to do? You know? He had a lot of nerve setting up for a festival that your family puts on every year. First thing I did when I got back was take a shower. Not because I wanted to wash off sweat. It was because I wanted to be even calmer. I already understood this, but killing that man would be so very easy. The really hard thing would not be getting arrested for it, so we could get our peaceful days back. As I thought about it, I realized it wasn't easy. Japan's police force had the highest arrest rate in the world. Is that true? No way that's true. Well, I guess it could be. I would need to deceitfully pull off the perfect crime, and it couldn't be a half-hearted attempt. Still, it wasn't 100%. Even the best police force in the world couldn't have a 100% arrest rate. I've read a lot of articles on trials where people brought up on false charges. I do a lot to determine whether they really were false accusations, but figuring out who the real criminal was is usually out of the question. And that meant perfect crimes did exist. In fact, perfect crimes were sort of like works of art. Keiichi, don't go idolizing these criminals. Oh my god. Yeah, so if someone gets arrested, they're basically guaranteed to go to prison. Yeah. They can be even respected and revered. You just had to look at the inundation of mystery novels everywhere throughout history. They dealt with all sorts of difficult to solve incidents involving secret rooms and alibis and stuff. They all wanted to show one thing. They wanted to show off the beauty of a perfect crime. There was something divine in the flawlessness of the word perfect. Yes. Perfect crimes were skills of gods. And in that sense, the serial freak deaths they were calling the curse of Higurashi-sama, I understood they must have been the works of gods. Each one appeared to have been resolved, but they couldn't stop it from happening every year. Yeah, skills belonging only to gods, those are perfect crimes. I would be setting up my own crime before Yashida-sama's series of perfect crimes 4 years in the running. If I were to put it boldly, I was challenging a god. Foolhardiness would be needed to make the decision. I needed to be calm, cool, and colder than ice to put that plan together. Kill him like the flame, like a flame, but as systematic as ice. Starting now, I needed to retain both those ideas within me. Modeling my crime after a mystery novel wasn't actually a bad thing to focus on. Sometimes kidnapping involving disturbing original methods made into the newspaper were used as a basis for novels after the person was arrested. Stuff like that made it into the news. Day and night, for a very long time, mystery novel authors polished and refined their most fantastic artistic crimes. Imitating that could be a shortcut to planning the perfect crime in a short period of time. Of course, I haven't read enough mystery novels to act all high and mighty about them. One who really liked mystery novels was my mom. She read every well-known mystery novel from overseas, from past and present. Every time she watched mystery shows, she'd always criticize them of having cheap tricks or being poorly thought out. I wonder what the perfect crime would mean to her. Is Pepe dead yet? No, not yet. Not yet. What do I think the most well-done perfect crime in all the mystery novels I've read is? Yeah. Well, you read quite a lot of them, right? Figure you might know a lot about them. More fun to read about them. Read them to find out. If I told you all the tricks right off the bat, they'd be no fun anymore. It wasn't like I was asking for my own amusement. He was deflecting the question, so I would somehow butter her up first and draw out an answer. Of course, Agatha Christie's And Then There Were None is my top recommendation. And Murder on the Orient Express used some great bold tricks too, of course. I didn't see it coming at all. I didn't want to know which novels you liked. I wanted to know about the trick that made you the most surprised. But really, if it was really a perfect trick, the detectives wouldn't be able to solve the case, though. That was true. Then there'd be no point. Mystery novels are enjoyable because of the process of the mysteries getting solved. If it was unsolvable, it wouldn't make a very good topic for a novel. I get it. Yeah, you're right. The main character can't solve it, wouldn't be much of a story, huh? Was I being too simplistic? A mystery novel was basically a game. They were written so you can get to the goal, so that you could solve them. But I couldn't use something so optimistic. Best crime is the one with the poison on the communal soup. What? I don't know that one. But I couldn't use something so optimistic. It needed to be the be-all end-all of tricks so we could, without doubt, return to our old lives. By the way, Keiichi, do you understand that truly perfect crimes don't even become stories? Mom looked at me intellectually and grinned impishly. I'd never gotten to read it, but apparently one time a long time ago, Mom had written her own mystery novel and submitted it for some mystery novel award. Apparently she was really into it. Don't even become stories? What does that mean? Keiichi, what are the essential parts of a story? A beginning, a middle, and an end? Correct. The beginning, of course, is especially important. If there were no beginning, then the story never starts. Well, yeah. Nothing happened, nothing would begin. Right? Nothing happened, so there wouldn't even be an incident. Detectives wouldn't be called, so there wouldn't be any mystery. There'd be no mystery, then there would be no solution. In other words, it would be the ultimate perfect crime. Oh, I get it. I get it. Wait a second. Could you explain that again? Mom just told me something absurd. She was saying it so smoothly too, so I kind of tuned her out, but she said something extremely important just now. It's not really that difficult to understand. The incident just has to never come to light, that's all. Just has to never come to light. For example, how about this? Say there's an old man living deep in the forest nobody goes to. Uh-huh. One day, the old man gets killed by an axe. And, let's say the criminal was the old man's son. He went to the old man's house and they were drinking together and they got into a fight and he killed him. What an extremely cheap plot. It was impulsive crime without a bit of planning. It was pretty far from a perfect crime. But Keiichi, the house was really, really deep in the forest. So deep in the mountains that nobody would ever get out that far. And his son would go back in town and say that the old man was doing fine. What about that is a perfect crime? Keiichi, this incident would only begin when it was found out that the old man was killed. Nobody ever visited the old man's house after that. The beginning would never occur. The beginning would never occur. So basically, the story wouldn't start. The incident wouldn't come to light, and they wouldn't call in the detectives. Nobody would be suspicious in the first place, so there'd be no mystery. They'd think the old man was still living by himself deep in the forest. The old man's face would appear in the sky, and that would be it. Something like that, you know? That's amazing. That's a pretty great trick. But it wouldn't be a novel. Mystery novels are for entertainment, after all. Can't be instruction manuals for perfect crimes. Trying hard to talk cheerfully to fool her, but inside I was excited. Special tools, strange geography, mystery drugs. Traps involving huge sums of cash. None of them were needed for perfect crimes. The important thing was that there wasn't a beginning. As long as the incident didn't come to light, it would be fine. Speaking broadly, if I were to kill him without anyone finding out, and dispose of the corpse somewhere no one would find, it would be basically already be a perfect crime. Of course, if someone up and vanished one day, all of a sudden people would get suspicious. That implied this man. Last year, after the aunt died, he ran away from the village in fear of Yashiro-sama. When the night of Watanagashi came around again, everyone would have to think that he ran away in fear again. I mean, he had been living with a lover of his in town. No matter what it felt like when he vanished, no one would be suspicious. People hated him, after all. No one would care where he went if he disappeared. When I thought about it like that, it got easier and easier to imagine killing him. There was no point in thinking inside my house anymore. I left, getting my bike out of the garage. For now, it didn't matter where I was going. I just rode through the wind, trying to calm my excitement by feeling the cool air on my body. Where I'd kill him, how I'd do it, what time, and how I'd dispose of the corpse. If I had just those 4 things, I could get a good plan going. I was so surprised at how little there was to decide that I shivered. I'd been completely prepared to build this humongous plan over a really long period of time. But if I could just get these little things in order, I could put it into motion. Today was Saturday. I'd have to kill him on the night of Watanagashi. So as long as I was standing in for Yashiro-sama, I only had 24 hours remaining. Tatagoroshi, just hang on for 24 more hours. Can't even imagine having to suffer through even more. But please hold out for a little longer. Prediction: he's going to lead Teppei into Satsuko's traps. That is a really good idea. That is a possibility. But I have my prediction as well. What if Satsuko dies? Like, he's saying, hey, hold on for 24 more hours, but what if she can't? What if he kills her accidentally? What if? And then Keiichi just goes ballistic, you know? What if? What if she kills him? Bruh, she's like 6. No, she's like 8 or something. There's no way. There's no way. She wouldn't anyway, because she wants to hold out. I know you can't even last another second. I know that. But please, just hold out. Your Nini will save you for sure. Have you not seen Steins Gate? A long time ago. A long time ago. Outside, it was still early enough for the cicadas to be crying. Early afternoon. Evening was still a long way off. I looked at the sky. At some point, it had gotten cloudy. Come to think of it, as I left the house, I heard on the TV that the weather forecast was calling for a chance of rain on Sunday. The sky was the color of lead. If I heard a bit of thunder, I definitely have expected a sudden evening shower. What is this song? The first destination was school. Before explaining when I was going there, I needed to explain what method for killing that man I had decided upon. Decided the most suitable death, the one I needed to give him, was the same as last year's curse. Same as the punishment their aunt had received, being beaten to death. Wouldn't beating him to death be somewhat unreliable? You may think that stabbing with a blade would be more reliable. This was something I had chosen after a lot of thought. I just needed to think realistically. The law had prohibited carrying any blades longer than 10 centimeters, I think. So the blades available to me, though long enough, were limited to things shorter than a ruler. You can probably understand how tricky it would be with such a short reach to go up against an opponent that might fight back. In that case, using a weapon with a reach would be far more effective. It might not have the same precision, but you just had to hit the guy until you killed him. Both options resulted in death. That's settled. What is the weapon the most terrifying force behind it that is also easy to carry around? At this point, you should immediately think of a metal baseball bat. I don't need to explain how terrifying a metal baseball bat can be as a weapon. Yeah, he is getting Satoshi's bat, isn't he? A special note is the fact that you can carry one in broad daylight and not be thought of as suspicious. Just those 2 points would have been enough to choose a metal bat for my weapon. There was one more reason for choosing a metal bat in particular. I'll speak about it later. I will speak about it later. He's holding things from us. What the heck? After school that Saturday, my classmates were still having fun playing in the schoolyard. I could show up there, and it would be the same as always. Nobody would think I'm suspicious. Getting my hands on the weapon without looking suspicious was actually a factor I couldn't ignore. I didn't normally play baseball, so if I went into a sports store looking for a metal bat, it would definitely be suspicious. I can't let there be a beginning to the story, so I definitely needed to be careful about even that. Bat left school. At a location which my appearance wouldn't be suspicious. I would acquire the weapon. Checked inside the classroom through the window, but of course, there was nobody there. The only students who would stay in there were me and the others when doing club activities. Without us, the classroom after school was just an empty, unused room. Without glancing around nervously, as if I'd just gone to get something I'd forgotten, I casually went to the entrance. Suspicious music. It looked like the teacher was busy with paperwork in the teacher's lounge. I didn't see her in the hallway. Naturally, yet quickly as a shadow, I entered the classroom. The empty room was full of strange, stagnant air that you couldn't feel normally. An empty classroom, with nobody here. Maybe while no one was around, the desks creep about on their own accord, licking the floors clean of dirt. What? If I suddenly stepped into a place like that, would the desks in their surprise fly at me, crush my bones, and eat me alive? What even? Yeah, that's ridiculous. Why would you even think about that, Keiichi? I felt regret at wasting valuable thinking time on stupid delusions. Students' lockers were lined up in the back of the classroom. The one I was looking for wasn't my own. It was a forbidden locker. One I had accidentally discovered one day. Here it is. Hojo. This has to be it. One person has one locker. Then why would only Satoko have two? I'd made a fuss about it once. For that, I learned it was Satoshi's locker, and he had the same last name as her. But of course, even though it was a locker for a student no longer here, looking inside it was still a shameless act. But one time, I let my curiosity get the better of me and took a peek inside. Inside, it was an average and worthless. At the time, I hadn't been interested, so until now I'd forgotten what had been in it. But now that I had, dare I say it, awakened, I remembered the thing that had been in there. He's awakened! Oh my god. Scrape. I opened the locker and the stench of mold and sweat wafted out like a gym storehouse that hadn't been cleaned in weeks. My face puckered up at the stench, but I looked for it. Yes. Satoshi was on the coach's baseball team. Beside the locker was the Hinamizawa fighter's uniform, and it. The one Satoshi used. The metal bat. Yes. This was the reason I wanted to choose this bat. The murder would be carried out by me, but this wasn't originally my role. It was Satoshi's. But I would stand in for him and call myself Satoko's Nini. It was one of the rules for standing in for him. Reach for the metal bat and grasp it firmly. It was light, and yet the tip has enough heft in it, enough to easily imagine the horror if I brought it down with all my might. Satoshi, I'll give you one last chance to save your sister. Lend me your strength. You're a coward, but I'll stand in for you. If you still care even a little bit about her, you will lend me your strength. There's no more suitable weapon in the world for putting that man to death than your bat. Now, I just need to figure out where to hide it. Tomorrow, before the act, I would stop by the school and grab it. Because I couldn't ignore the possibility of someone would see me bringing it home and think it was strange. If I left it here, it wouldn't be a problem. Plus, tomorrow was Sunday. Not only that, it was the day of the biggest festival in the whole village. Nobody would be coming to school. Nobody would be coming to school, so wouldn't it be suspicious if Keiichi went to school? There's the start of the mystery, huh? I left out the entrance and went over to the construction vehicle parked nearby. We'd been warned by our teacher not to touch it just for laughs, so none of the kids would come near the vehicle either. They wouldn't, because if she found out they touched it, they'd be in huge trouble. But no one would be there to see it, probably. You're right, you're right, you're right. Okay. I quietly hid it in the shadow of the vehicle. Chances of someone operating the vehicle tomorrow was slim to none. Because tomorrow was Sunday. Government workers had the day off. And, from what my classmates had said, the thing had been left here for years now. Machines that hadn't been moved in years. You can't just suddenly start them up again. So I was almost definitely fine in this case. Sunlight was piercingly hot. My head grew faint for a moment. Had the heat been this harsh for the entire day? A moment of dulled thoughts like this was a moment of carelessness. I gave myself a couple hits in the head and looked around warily. Okay. Next, how to dispose of the corpse. Man, we're getting the plan all together today. I wouldn't be surprised if he carried out the murder today either. He has 24 hours anyway. Disposing of the corpse. The ultimate way of not creating a beginning was to not let the corpse be found. It was even more important than killing him. Thinking on it vaguely, the first thing that came to mind was the swamp. Onigafuchi, the dreadful, bottomless swamp revered even now, had appeared in the legends of Onigafuchi village. Yes, the swamp called Onigafuchi was here first, and then the village took its name to become Onigafuchi village. In other words, this swamp was the origin of Onigafuchi village. No one, no matter who it was, would float back to the surface of this bottomless swamp. Everyone would be swallowed down into the land of demons below the earth. That was how the stories went. I was trying to copy Yoshide-sama's curse. Then I felt that theory demanded I discarded the remains and weapon into the swamp. But they may have said it was bottomless, but I didn't actually know. People say large creatures like humans produce a lot of gas when they rot, gaining a lot of buoyancy. It was why using fairly heavy objects to hold them down didn't work. Come to think of it, when the curse the year before last, Rika-chan's mother drowned herself in the swamp. And the criminal behind the dismemberment that went missing the year of the first curse too, was rumored he tried to discard the body in the swamp and accidentally drowned in it. Never heard of the corpse coming back up, or them finding it. Then, shouldn't I choose to discard the corpse there too? I could discard the weapon there. And then, for example, if her uncle came out on a motorcycle and attacked, it'd be convenient to get rid of the bike too. I knew that Satoko's uncle generally used a motorcycle for transportation. But as for the corpse, after a lot of worrying, I decided not to discard the corpse in the swamp. Why? The drowning, suicide, and accident were both rumors. Nobody knew if they actually happened. There were no lack of false rumors about the drowning suicide anyway, and it was possible the murderer hadn't drowned there and was still on the run. That meant nobody had ever confirmed a corpse being dropped in there and then not coming back up. I guess you gotta be safe about these things. Then what would I do with the body? Thought it might be interesting to go with the first incident, cut him in pieces and hide him. Preparation and work for dismembering a human body would be difficult given the amount of time I had. That out of the question, I arrived at the conclusion to go with a more orthodox method of burying the body. Then where would I bury it? It was a question related to where I would kill him. Of course, I wanted to keep my time and proximity to the body at a minimum. With that in mind, I would want to dig the hole and dump the body in beforehand, to make the location of the act and the hole close together. Choice of where to plan the crime, that I needed to be absolutely careful and thorough with. It had to be somewhere nobody would witness it, in a place where hiding places for a sneak attack. I could dig a hole for the body right there. I'd go over the possibilities in my head of the various destinations her uncle would head to from Satoko's house. I imagined a map of the area in my head, and then I found a place that fulfilled most those conditions so easily it was almost unbelievable. A bit of the back road that went through the woods. I didn't think her uncle would go deeper into the mountains of Yagochi on a whim. If he was going somewhere, he'd pass through these woods first. Nobody used this back way unless they had something to do with Satoko's house, or one or two other places. This pass was fantastically ideal, as few people used it. I would wait for him in these woods. Would an ambush actually be possible? Went to the trees and tried really hiding myself in a few places. It was extremely quiet. My senses would be sharpened here to the maximum amount. I didn't know when he'd come, but I'd wait right here for Satoko's uncle. I actually had some trouble coming to that decision. The question arose whether I should somehow call the man out. Is there a risk I'd be taking by luring him here? That man made Tatagoro do all the shopping and errands. He seldom left on his own business. He wouldn't leave unless I worked out a plan to force him to, would he? That was the question. Tomorrow was the Higurashi festival. Would he go out for the festival, or would he stay inside? If he stayed inside, how would I drag him out of his house? Right. Wouldn't he make Satsuko go to the festival? Satsuko would go to the festival. Meanwhile, I would call the man. This is Okinomiya Police Station. We have the young lady from your house. Could you come pick her up immediately? It didn't even have to be the police. This is the clinic. The young lady from your home has been injured. Please come and pick her up. Yes, that would work too. If I claimed to be the police or the hospital, told him to come and hung up on him, he'd rush there trying to figure out what was going on, wouldn't he? Just the other day, he was visited by a probation officer. He wouldn't suddenly grumble about having to get his niece and not go. It would look like child neglect. Ah. The man had no skills useful around the house. Satsuko, his slave, was an essential part of his daily life. Conclusion. If he went out to the festival, I would attack him here on his way there or back. If he didn't, I would lure him out by phone. If luring him out by phone was my first step, I needed to be sure Satsuko would go to the festival leaving the house. It would be convenient if I could make Mio take Satsuko to the festival. She said her aunt was a district welfare officer. In other words, an ally to the probation officer. If someone incited Mio to take Satsuko to the festival with her, well, being who she was, she'd use that fact to get her there. Satsuko should just take a break and have fun at the festival with everyone. She'd have a good time, reminisce on her former peaceful days, and when she went home, everything would be over. Yeah, that would be the best outcome. With that decided, I needed to dig a hole somewhere in the woods to hide the body. So it wouldn't stand out, so it wouldn't be found. Someplace nobody would see me while I was completely exposed as I buried the corpse. I wanted it to be close to the scene of the crime, but it naturally grew farther away. Deep in the bosom of the black forest. The voices of the Higurashi were the only sounds here, informing me that people shouldn't indiscreetly set foot in this place. Digging a hole, huh? Digging a hole with so many tree roots crawling around the ground would be far more difficult than I'd envisioned. I snuck a gardening spade out here in my bag, but that wouldn't be enough. Still, as I looked around at various approaches, I managed to find a place I could dig into. Tomorrow I'd bring the real shovel from the storeroom at home. I'd managed with that. Wondered how big a hole it'd have to be to fit a human all the way into it. Probably have to dig pretty deep down. If I was slipshod in these efforts, I'd let a beginning occur. I absolutely couldn't allow that. Use any amount of time you need to. I mustn't spare any effort to utterly erase him. I glanced at my wristwatch. It was a little past 6. This was probably all I was going to get done here for today. I really wanted to dig the hole in advance tonight, even if it got dark out, but Mom would be upset if I stayed out that late. Wouldn't it be good to come off as suspicious to my parents? It wouldn't be good to stay out late even though I'm going to go murder someone tomorrow. I need to go back home and give Mion a call soon. I need to get her to promise Satsuko to take her by tonight. After that, today would be done. Done. Would it be, though? Is this really everything I could do to prepare right now? I decided where to kill him. I decided how to kill him. I decided, of course, how to dispose of the body. I didn't decide on a time, but I would play that by ear. I didn't have a way to decide that. Is that really all? Is this really all right? Have I overlooked anything? Would this really be how I planned? After all this, worries started welling up one after another. It was only natural I'd be anxious. This would be the first and last big job of my lifetime. I could not allow failure, and I had no experience as this was my first time. I didn't have the know-how, the knack. How was he gonna explain not being at the festival? He hasn't explained it, but I was assuming that he would go to the festival and then just be like, hey guys, I'm leaving now. Goodbye. I'm just assuming that's how it would go, but he hasn't explained that yet. It was only natural I'd be anxious. The dark clouds of unease told me doing nothing would be the easiest way. Really pathetic suggestion this late in the game. Have you forgotten how miserable Satsuko looked? On the outside, it may have looked like I was resolute, but deep in my heart, my knees were shaking loudly. I never actually won a single fight to my satisfaction. Could I really kill someone? I may have been planning an ambush, but my enemy was large and far older than me. He had a scary face and looked like he was well accustomed to fighting. Could I have... all the pieces before and after the murder were perfectly planned? What was the actual murder, the most important part, what unsettled me the most? All of my preparations, all my perfectly concealed machinations. If I didn't successfully murder him, they amounted to nothing. Damn it. For coming this far, you're pathetic, Keiichi Maebara. If you start to have these kinds of second thoughts, your ulterior motive will be obvious. Let's go home, calm your mind. Tomorrow will be a juncture in your life, the likes of which graduation, employment, marriage, and childbirth can hold a candle to. A day of murder, to kill someone, for someone else's sake. With that day behind us, we would take it back again. Those mild, spring-like days we never thought would stop. Those safe, peaceful, fun times. I felt my bicycle hard to get home. Felt somehow unsteady. He's gonna fake in those. Maybe how would you go about murdering someone? How would you go around murdering someone? How would I go around it? I mean, I wouldn't do it. If I were to murder someone, I would definitely get caught. There's no way I would even plan about trying not to get caught. That would be way too anxiety producing. Comically large anvil, large X. Exactly. But nah, I would probably do a serial stabbing. But I felt somehow unsteady, like my body and soul weren't in alignment. A subtle shift between where the tips of my hands and feet really were and where I felt them to be. My vision was a little distant and narrow. As the great barrier I had risked my future life on had nothing to do with me. An unreal sensation. How could I put it? Everything was so far away. Fine. Feel your unease permeate you, Keiichi Maebara. That will turn your timidity into meticulousness and allow you to act with greater caution. Oh, you'd pull a Detroit Become Human. Yeah! 28 stab wounds. Or was it 27? It was somewhere around there. 27 stab wounds. I'm more of a back alley curb stomp kind of guy. Yeah, I could never. Then it's actually an important emotion to feel. This feeling I had never went away that night. Oh. It was the first time I'd be calling Mion's house. Searched for her in the phone book the school gave me and then dialed a short phone number, the kind unique to remote places. It was around dinner time. I'm more of a slip and push them down the stairs. Come on, that's not personal at all. That's the thing, like gunshots is so impersonal, it's crude. But stabbings, that's different. That's real personal, right up and close with them. It was around dinner time. She would probably be home. As I started to think nobody would respond, somebody finally picked up the receiver. Hello, this is Sonozaki. Oh, I'm sorry for calling so late at night. Is this Mion? Huh? May I ask who's calling? It's me, Keiichi. Ah, oh, Kei-chan. It's pretty late. What's up? She seemed to be in a weirdly good mood and she drew her syllables out. Right, it's the night before tomorrow's festival. She's probably with her family having some drinks. Sorry for the late call. Do you have any time right now? Sure. What's it? What is it? About Satoko. Heard her drawing a small breath on the other end. Satoko, she's in a pretty bad spot. Hope she's okay. The scent of sake completely disappeared from her voice. Can't be okay. You saw too, didn't you? What was she like? What she was like? She was completely worn out from all the abuse. We failed her all this time and now she's become like that. Keiichi, this isn't what you called for. This isn't what you called for. This is very suspicious. We didn't fail her. Everyone tried their hardest to help her. But we didn't come up with anything and we couldn't save her. In the end, we couldn't do anything about it. Now she's become like that. I guess you're right. All I did was watch, after all. So, well, at least... couldn't we at least let her have fun for one night? Huh? Let her have fun? Been so battered lately, you understand? That's why I want you to take her to watch Nagashi Festival tomorrow. I don't mind. But why? Why? I want to give her a breather for at least festival night, you know? Even if it's just one night, if she can get away from her evil uncle, then I think she'll be happy, even if it's only for a little while. Yeah, but why? Why? Why what? I'm having a little difficulty understanding what Mion was asking me. Why? Well, I mean, why don't you bring her, Kei-chan? Why do you need me to do it? Mion was persistent about odd things. No, maybe it'd be better to say that she was sharp. I actually have something to do tomorrow. Keiichi! That is so awful. That is the worst excuse. The absolute worst excuse. I can't make it to the festival, so I wanted you to take Satoko there for me. Something to do? Nothing major. I'll probably finish quickly. But I might not be able to meet up with you all tomorrow. Keiichi sus. Keiichi sus. Hey, Mion, can I leave Satoko with you to you? Just for tomorrow night? Mion took a long time to give her a reply. I got the feeling that Mion had been acting weird for a while now. She was flustered by emotions or something. No. Hick. Huh? Yeah, me too. Huh? Was that a sob? Mion, are you crying? I said no, I don't want to. I don't want you to push this onto someone like me. I'm not trying to push anything onto you. It's just for tomorrow night. That was a lie. What? Mion, what was she talking about? Saying it's just for the night of what Nagashi? And then it was forever? Liar? But I guess we're even, huh? I couldn't keep the promise I made with you. I left her alone all this time. I had no idea what to say to that. Moon was clearly now talking to someone other than me. I didn't know who. All I could do was listen to her in a daze. You never came back after that, and now you called me again to push her onto me. You're so unfair. Hey, you're Satoshi-kun, aren't you? What? No. No. But Mion, what are you talking about? When I said her name, whatever spell was on Mion was released. I'm sorry. It's nothing. It's just that I got a phone call a lot like the one you're making now, a long time ago. Was it from Satoshi? Mion didn't answer. Bro, I'm so convinced. The guy who killed the aunt was definitely Satoshi. And then he ran away to, like... Yeah, I'm pretty sure Satoshi killed his aunt. Yeah, like 100%. Not 100, but like 99. All I could hear were sobs coming through the receiver. Sorry. I think I'm still a little tipsy. I got all weirdly emotional. Sorry, I probably scared you. I had no idea how it happened. But I was pretty sure that last year on this very day, Satoshi had called Mion and told her to bring Satoko to the festival. When she asked why she needed her to do it, he replied the same way I just did. Satoshi didn't go to the festival, did he? Yeah, Said he had something to do, and he couldn't make it. And he told me to take Satoko there in his place. At the time, Satoshi said it too, didn't he? That he'd leave Satoko to you. Yeah, he did. Just for tomorrow night. The way you said it was just how he did. I just got a little upset, caught up in a memory and all. I didn't expect this. Thought that she had given her the same exact phone call 1 year ago today. We even kept going after that. That he was lying. That he told her it would be only for the night of the festival. I get it. A few days later, Satoshi, he disappeared. Disappeared might have been a rather vague way to put it. Whether he ran away or not, Satoshi left, abandoning Satoko. Yes. He didn't transfer or run away from home. He disappeared. And then, an idea far more indistinct than even fog crossed my mind. Satoshi made the exact phone call as me last year. Why would Satoshi make the exact same phone call? If, in the truest sense, he really made the exact same phone call as I am right now, then the incident where their aunt was beaten to death, could it? Oh, he's piecing it together. Was Satoshi. Huh? What was that? Last year, Satoko had been constantly abused by her uncle's wife, their aunt, too. Her aunt abused her the most. And on that night, in the name of Yashiro-sama's curse, he was taken from this world. I thought about that, everything made perfect sense, didn't it? Last year, Satoko's aunt was beaten to death, wasn't she? Would it be impossible for Satoshi to have... No, but that would mean... But then, Satoshi, he was a coward who abandoned Satoko and ran away, wasn't he? How could Satoshi resolve himself to kill a person to save Satoko? It was unthinkable. It wasn't unthinkable. No way. I actually considered that as well. That would be mean to Satoshi. A few days later, he disappeared. On Satoko's birthday. When I first heard it, I flew into a rage. What a cruel day to have run away on. But, now that I thought about it like this, the story changed completely. Satoshi had probably even less calm than I was right now. He was her big brother, related by blood, watching his little sister be abused day in and day out. Maybe that's why he couldn't keep calm. And that was why the corpse of their aunt, beaten to death, was so easily discovered. Satoshi lost himself in anger and hadn't hidden the corpse. It permitted a beginning to occur. The police conducted a full-blown investigation. It was easy to imagine they wouldn't take long to pin down Satoshi as the culprit. Satoshi, he wished for a return to peaceful days with Satoko, and even though he achieved it for a time, he had been steadily driven into a corner. And then, he wanted to at least hold out until Satoko's birthday, but finally, they nailed him. At the time, Satoshi had been carrying the savings he had amassed to buy Satoko a giant stuffed animal for a birthday present. He'd buy the stuffed animal as her gift, and then get caught. Or he would use the money and disappear. That was the choice he had been forced to make. And then he decided not to make Satoko the sister of a murderer. If that was the case, then it might have been an unspeakably bitter decision. All that money he'd saved wanting to see Satoko happy, he had used it to make her sad. Then he used the savings and disappeared. To Tokyo, if the rumors were true. Then he was whisked away. But was that how Satoshi disappeared? I don't know. That Oishi guy seems to think that way, though. Oishi... Had he been slowly driven into a corner by that repulsive man's pig-headed pursuit? The circumstantial evidence is all there, but I think your deduction is wrong. I thought some crazy drug addict somewhere in the prefecture, and he apparently turned himself in for the crime. That was right. I have to go drive my brother somewhere? Aw, okay. I'll see you, East. That was right. Deviant had confessed, and the incident was resolved. They said he was just a crazy person. He had no ties to Nimizawa, and no relationship with Satoshi, of course. I mean, I have a pretty hard time believing that guy would lie in Satoshi's place. You couldn't just arbitrarily decide like that. You'd never know where or how humans are tied together. That guy took the blame, then it was the perfect crime. Of course, it was a really perfect crime. There would have been no reason for Satoshi to vanish. Plus, I don't think Satoshi had that kind of money to run away. That day he withdrew all of his savings. No matter who I tell this to, nobody believes me, but a stuffed animal he said he was buying for Satoko. It was gone from the display. Sold. Must have been Satoshi. Wait a minute. He didn't use the money to flee and bought the stuffed animal instead. He would have gone back to Satoko, wouldn't he? Seems unbelievable he'd buy it and then disappear without having given it to her. Yeah. So, I don't know what happened. It'd be one thing if he had the money, but he used his savings on it and he'd be totally broke. Can't live a life on the run without money in this world. I didn't get it. For all that, I was understanding Satoshi less and less. Two of us fell silent. I don't remember how we even got on this topic. Sorry. I think we got off topic. Got to go, right? Don't worry. I actually already invited her. Huh? You serious? When everyone went back to the shrine to prepare for the festival, we started talking about getting Satoko to the festival itself. Then I used the phone at the assembly hall to invite her. Uncle was acting distant, didn't seem to care at all. In any case, we got the okay from him. We decided to all meet up and go together tomorrow. You okay with that? Satoshi? Oh my god, don't call him Satoshi. Don't. Stupid. Not Satoshi. I was a little relieved. I hadn't needed to make a phone call. Satoko had already been invited to the festival. And not in a way that smelled of blood, a way to leave her uncle alone to create time for me to kill him. They purely wanted Satoko to enjoy herself, so they invited her. In the end, it was the same, but I was happy for that slight difference. Sorry. I guess I didn't need to call then. First yesterday, now today. Sorry for saying such weird things. Just forget about it. No, I'm the one who should apologize. Losing it like that isn't like me. I'm really sorry. Apologize to each other for a little bit. Alright, I'll be going now. Good night. What did you have to do? As if interrupting our parting words, Mion struck straight where it hurt. Or is it like with Satoshi, where you can't say? Stupid. I keep telling you, I'm not Satoshi. Yeah, I know that. Deflected her with a response that wasn't really an answer. Mion didn't hound me anymore after that. Alright, this time for real. Good night. I don't know why you're giving me the same call Satoshi-kun did, but yeah, never mind. I'm sorry. Good night. I'm hanging up. Click. Satoshi Hojo. Who are you? Scorned you as a coward who ran away, abandoning his sister. I always thought you didn't have the right to call yourself her Nini. But now I didn't know what to think. Yashida-sama's curse on the 4th year, her aunt's death, and Satoshi's disappearance. Now me, trying to carry out Yashida-sama's curse on the 5th. Oddly enough, what I was going to do overlapped perfectly with Satoshi, the day before the curse. No, that wasn't all. We start, back from Satoko being abused. It had been overlapping with Satoshi for days already. When I talked to Mion before, she asked me if I was Satoshi. That was the first impression a third party like Mion got, and it was probably true. Then, as Satoshi had accomplished, I would succeed in the murder. But that was the extent to which we overlapped. I was far calmer than Satoshi and more calculating. I'm better than Satoshi. I could naturally grow calmer the more enthusiastic I became. That's why I wouldn't follow in Satoshi's footsteps. I would snip him cleanly out of the world and then get back our peaceful life. Maybe Satoshi has been with me ever since I chose to use Satoshi's bat as my weapon. No, maybe even longer than that. When I decided I'd be your Nini. Maybe Satoshi had been residing within me then, too. Satoshi, were you really a coward? Or are you a true Nini even now? Kind worthy of Satogo's love? Never met him, never spoken to him. Didn't even know his face, and yet I felt so connected to him. I'd never felt that way before. Yeah, they are definitely connected, albeit spiritually, possibly. But the parallels are definitely there. Law tips. For the attention of those on the housewife slaughter incident case. I just got an achievement called Possessed. Bruh. Possessed? No way. No way. Something like that. I still think, like, it's half spiritual and half by people. That's what I think. Okay, for the attention of those on the housewife slaughter incident case. July blank, 1982. Okinomiya Police Station, 1st Investigative Division, Chief Takatsugi. Blank Prefecture Police Headquarters for the eradication of drug-related crime. Shishibone Branch Head, blank blank. Regarding incident blank, designated as undercover investigation. Undercover investigation. The message to inform you that a section of the testimony records of an incident under this police headquarters jurisdiction has been found that are thought to be related to the undercover investigation of the incident in question. Okinomiya Police Station X, Inumizawa Village housewife slaughter incident. During investigation of suspect blank blank, who was arrested for possession of illegal drugs, there was a testimony related to the crime in question. As part of it, we learned that the criminal had information only he could have known. Therefore, this record of testimony, duplicate attached, will be provided to you. This testimony is to be believed. There is an extremely high chance that the suspect blank blank was the culprit behind the incident in question. In addition, the head investigator on the case received this report and inquired as to the incident with Okinomiya Police Station. The responsible party at Okinomiya Station who responded to the designated undercover investigation announced that by the prefecture's police general director. Jesus Christ, this is so much. On July 1st, misunderstood did not explain the incident's existence to the head investigator on the case properly. Because of this, the case's head investigator was not aware of the importance of the testimony as it related to the case in question, and as a result was negligent when combining the scene. Combing? Yeah, combing the scene. We apologize for having left it in the dark until now. In addition, there was a postscript stating that the suspect blank blank died while in confinement yesterday on XXX. Died while in confinement? That's always suspicious. He didn't, like, kill himself, did he? They would have said that, right? We'll probably learn more about that next time anyway. But we have like 3-4 more achievements left on Steam. So we still have a bit to go through, but we'll see. We'll see if Keiichi really goes through with it. But yeah, that'll be all for today. Have a good day. Have a good night, everyone. I'll see you guys next time, alright? Bye-bye. Bye-bye.